How you doing? This is Alan Dart with Earthwalker Primitives, and today what I want to teach you is how to make a grass mat. And what we have here is what they call Phragmites. It's similar to cattail. I guess it's a cousin or whatever, but you can tell this here has a fluff. I don't know exactly what you call it, but cattail has the what they call the hot dog, the brown hot dog on top. That's what I call it. But this, get a little close up here, can also be used for tinder and making char, fuzz, or char cloth type stuff. We use the same if you run across this. This area is a runoff from a canal that we have close by. This is nothing but swamp, wetland type area, and a lot of times you'll find this type of grass, this Phragmites, growing here. And what this is good for, this is actually, let me find a good one here. It almost looks like, bamboo or river cane, as to the point where it has knolls or nodules ever so far. So if you were to cut it off in between two, it would be hollow. You could use this as a blow tube on your fire. If you're doing a little primitive blacksmithing, you could use this to drink if you wanted to make a filter of some sort. So you can use rock crevices, that kind of thing. But yeah, this is a good area to find shelter making material. So what I've done here, as you can see on the ground here, this we spent about, I don't know, 15 minutes gathering these up right here. These aren't real comfortable to lay on, but if this is what you have and you want to make a mat out of it, that's great. But the goal is today to show you how to weave a mat for making shelter, for a shelter wall. You'll have your structure on your shelter, and then you'll go ahead and you'll lay these across and make them like shingles. And these work very good. So we're going to go ahead and gather a few more, and then we're going to head back up to where the shelter is going to be built, and I'll get back with you. Now that we have gathered enough to start with, you can see here we have quite a few, those Phragmites, they're pretty long. We gathered the long ones. You could do short ones, but you'd have to do double strips. I got some long ones because I can get two lengths out of that. So I went ahead and I set up my, I guess you call it my weaving loom for weaving a mat. Right. Now that I have my loom set up here, as you can see, I have three main supports right here. And I found two trees that were close together, and I went ahead and tied a support beam across there, I guess you want to call it. Same way you set up like a lean-to or something of that sort. And this just makes it easier so you don't have to pound extra sticks around. If you didn't have two trees close together, you could pound three more sticks in the ground. But I went ahead and just lashed it about waist high. And right here I'm using, for demonstration, this is mason line. You could use something, if it's not going to be a permanent shelter, or something you're going to keep for a very long time, you could use jute twine or something like that, or man-made cordage. It may take you a long time, but this is not something you would just go out and do on a 1 day or even a 2 day for doing shelter. This would be more like a permanent camp type setup for making walls for your shelter. Excuse me. So what I have done here, now I've used one piece of string. You can use two, and I'll show you the difference here in a sec. You tie off to one of your supports, and you run around, and you tie off to here, and then you tie another one off, and you come up and you tie to your raising and lowering stick there. Well, what I did is I went ahead and just used one, come around, tied a knot in it, because if you leave it open like this and just wrap around it, once you get done you can't take it off, because once you cut these strings it'll come unraveled. So it's better just to use two strings. You can see here, if you were just to wrap around and come right around, when you go to take it off this, you cut it, you got two loose ends, you'd have to pack it and tie it again. But with this, just tie the knot in there. Once I pack it in, I can just cut here, and I have it, and I can attach it to my other mats. And once you get it tied up here, you'll run another piece, and this is the one that you run back and forth, up and down. But you want to have these as long as you can. If you had 2 more trees, that would work really good. But what we have set up here will work for what we're doing. As you can see, this works by lowering it. And if you're too close to the ground, what will happen is you run to the ground, you got to lift each one of these up. Now, on these right here, your supports, you want to find as straight as possible. See, this one bends out, so it's going to put some slack in my string. But that's a good thing, because as you pack it, the string will get shorter and shorter as you go along, and these will start bending in. So you have to have a way to lengthen this string. But I just set this up for demonstration. When you tie this here, you want to tie it, you want to have a long tag in on both these. So once your poles start going in, you can untie it, give it some slack, tie it again, so you can keep going and make them long. But I'm making short mats to use on my shelf. As you can see over here, I started my ridge pole. I'm going to go ahead and do a lean-to type and use these Phragmites to make mats to use my covering. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. With these here, you have fat ends and skinny ends. Go ahead and pull some of these out. I like to go with 4. What you do is it's raised up, which we need to raise it up even higher. And if you have a helper, it's even better, because they can lift it up, and then when you put it in there, they can drop it down, because this is you'll have to walk back and forth a lot. See, if you hold it up higher, then you don't have to try to work through this. You can just go ahead and put them in there. Once you get them lined up, with grass it's a little easier. You just make a bundle and jam them in there. But these you have to sort of do fat and skinny ends, because if not, your mat will be fat at one end and skinny at the other. But for what I'm doing, I'm not using this to lay on. I'm using this as a shelter covering. So I want all my fat ends to be at one end and my skinny ends to be at the other, so when I put it on, it overlaps like shingles. So we'll go ahead and drop this down. As you can see, if you're really close to the ground, then you wouldn't be able to get this nice open shed right here. This is actually what you call a shed. If you're talking in terms of weaving, this would be your warp right here, and these is what you'd call your shed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where I want to do it and cut the ends off, which sometimes is harder than, because this is pretty hard stuff, being this is a grass. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and feed the next ones in. So you can do this by yourself if you do this setup here. And you're going to have gaps in it. So, but that is can be taken care of once you layer them. But the main issue you're going to have is how big the gap is. Now, the thicker this is, you're going to have a thicker gap, because that string, you can't really pull it tight until you do a couple, and then you can pull them pretty tight. So we'll go ahead and drop this, raise this back up. It's a lot easier if you do have somebody helping you than it is doing it by yourself, but it can be done. See, if they're all 3 the same, then you won't have to worry about it. But I had a short one there. So we'll grab some more. Put this around. Now remember, this is not an exact science type thing. You can weave these in here however you want. You can do 1 at a time, you can do 2 or 3 at a time. I'm just choosing to do 4, because I plan on putting at least 4 layers of this, because I have acres of this stuff, so I can really add a lot. But as you can see, my shed is really tall. I don't have to try to lift up each string. I can just go ahead and put those in there and pull them down tight. Now your partner, if you have a partner, you go ahead and lower it while you're holding it. keep going, as far as you can go. There you go. You want to try to keep it tight, and with mason line it's going to be hard, so in fact it's a slick nylon. But if you're using something like artificial sinew or jute or something like that, it'll be a lot easier. I'll put these last ones in here, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with a partner. Alright, now that I've got my partner with me, I'm going to go ahead after I insert these, hold them, and he's going to lift up, and he's going to lift up, and he's going to hold it. And you don't have to cut these right away, but they're fairly short. Just get them out of the way. And grab some more here. 4 more. Okay, and he'll go ahead and partner will lower it. And use the ones that you can use again. And raise it up again. And you just keep doing that over and over. We'll do a couple more here until you. And like I said, it doesn't really matter how many you put in there. It don't have to be an exact amount. Let's grab 4 or 5. You just want to, basically you're building a wall. Right? And the more strings you have on here, I have 3, but the more strings you have, the tighter it can get. Go ahead, razor. But when you want to do, when you're finished doing your, how long you want it, you want to take off your string. And you want to tie it down. Close it up the best you can. There's no exact science to this stuff. You just want to, so the string don't come apart on you. That's the only thing so your mat don't come apart on you. That's the only thing you don't want to happen. And you want to leave a tag end on here so you can tie it off to your shelter. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in a little bit. And if you want to leave one attached, you go ahead and snake it in and just come around anywhere in here. You have to hold it tight together and do a couple half hitches just to hold it until you get your other one cut. And so you can actually tie it off. And this one I've already started, so I'll just cut this. Go ahead and, as you can see, once you cut these, if you were just to have a loop on there, it would come unraveled, but since I tied it, and then you want to go ahead and tie these off a little better. And there's what we're going to do is, now you might want to take this and do this down where you're collecting these and make you 4 or 5, and you can roll them up like this, and you leave these tag ends on here, and you can tie them up like this, and you take several of them and you make them where you're getting these. You don't really want to take them and that didn't stay on tight very well, did it? This nylon is is not really the ideal stuff for this. Like I said earlier, this is a demonstration. I would use something that's a little more natural. But you get like 4 or 5 of these, put them on your shoulder and head up to your shelter. Or you could go down and cut those and bring them up to your shelter and make them. But this figures to be a good demonstration on how to make these. And there's a plethora of things you could do using this same method. Make sleeping mats. You can make a hammock this way. If you get a lot of saplings or somewhere where there's a lot of sapling, you set it up, make it the same way with paracord, and you lay them in there and strap between 2 trees, and you have yourself a nice bridge type hammock. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This has been Alan with Earthwalker Primitive, and we'll catch you on the next one.